Welcome to Intersections of Faith and Freedom, the podcast series where we explore the diverse tapestry of Black Appalachian church culture. On today's episode, we're going to explore how young Black leaders are reshaping Appalachia, one story at a time. I'm your host, Joshua Outsey, and this being our final episode in the 5-part series, of course. Today's episode is called Juneteenth in the Mountains. It's about more than just history. It's about legacy. And it's about how a new generation of change makers rooted in faith, driven by justice, came together in one small Appalachian town to celebrate something long overdue: freedom for everyone. Let's take a step back. Independence Day, July 4th, 1776, the day America declared itself free from British rule. But for millions of Black Americans, that promise of liberty was deferred. And it wasn't until June 19th, 1865, almost 90 years later, that freedom reached the last enslaved people in Texas. That's the day we now know as Juneteenth. And in many towns across America, Juneteenth was just another day, if it was remembered at all. But in 2021, in this Appalachian town, something changed. We sat down with young community leaders, activists, pastors, educators, who organized the first town-wide Juneteenth celebration here.
My name is Adam Harris. I live in Italy Bottom section of Big Stone Gap, Virginia. I am, most recently, I'm a ordained minister, a commissioner with the town of Big Stone, a pharmacy technician, a father, husband. It seems like I wear many hats anymore, but one of the most important things is, as far as everything I do, is being on this committee and making sure that Juneteenth is something that keeps going.
Hi, I'm Jazz Smollins-Fullen. I'm originally from Jenkins, Kentucky. This is Eli. This is Elliot Reed. I'm originally from Jenkins, Kentucky, but I've been living in Wise County for the past 12 years now, and I've been in Big Stone Gap for the past 3.5 years. I'm a mommy. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm around. And I'm a community organizer in southwestern Virginia.
I am Terran Young. I am from Wise County and moved back here as an adult after I moved away for a few years. I am a community organizer. I am a mother. You'll probably hear my child in the background. I'm a wife. I'm married to Joshua Outsey. I do a lot of different things with a lot of different organizations around the area.
Hi there, my name is Micaiah Davis. I'm born and raised here in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. I am 28 years old. My folks have been here for several generations, all the way back to my great-granny, I'm sure beyond. And so I also live in Ely Bottom, where my family's been, I imagine, since we've been down here in Big Stone, originally from over in Scott County, Virginia. Why Juneteenth feels important to continue to me is it's an opportunity for us to come together to collectively hold a community event, create space for folks to experience joy, and to be able to give our community members, our families, a reason to come out and to celebrate each other and our culture.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you all, I guess, how it happened that you all sort of inherited this responsibility and this sort of honor of getting to, organize Juneteenth here in Bigstown?
Yeah, what's the experience of getting to work together has been lovely, but also just to get to know each other on a deeper level. Known Adam for some time, but never, I guess, been particularly close, and just met the Outseys and so Josh and Terran and Jess at that visual in 2020. And so over the course of now we're going our 5th year, this is our 5th year of hosting the event. It's been quite the journey. I've got to witness their children grow up. Got to sing with them and hug them and love them. And so that has been a really invaluable experience. Thinking about the DEI, what's going on with DEI right now, I think it feels more clear than ever the importance of the work we do, the importance of continuing to resist and organize significant cultural events such as Juneteenth, but also that we are continuing to build our bonds with one another, to build up actual structures to support one another as things continue to escalate, and also just the recognition that this isn't nothing new, nothing new under the sun. Like this attack on Black folks, Black autonomy, Black joy. This is going back for decades, centuries. So I feel that as the stewards of this work, it's our responsibility to continue to make it happen, right? And then as far as BSG activism, Big Stone Gap activism and movement leaders, I think similar to what I just said, I think we have a responsibility, right, to keep up the good fight and to keep doing the good work.
I think for me, especially with Juneteenth, it wasn't a new holiday for me. It was something that I always known about, Juneteenth and 8th of August, which is very specific to Appalachia. And while, I didn't have the day off to celebrate and have this huge celebration until recently, it was something that we always acknowledged in my household. With the erasure of DEI, I do want to say that this is not a town-sponsored event. This is not a government-sponsored event. This was us coming together to do something for us. The only thing we asked the town for was the permit to use the park. So I think, and that's something that we'll continue to do because that's, it was something that we did for us. Of course, everybody's invited. Everybody can be a part of it, but, so I don't feel necessarily like, oh, this is something that's going to be taken away, because it wasn't given to us. It was something that we gave to ourselves, something that we built and created ourselves. When it comes to Big Stone Gap in particular, activism and diversity, I think we've made a name for ourselves. Big Stone Gap is known as a location that has a lot of progressive activists, regardless of the situation around us. I mean, there's been plenty of times that, we've been on CNN, Micaiah and his brother were interviewed. I mean, we're all kind of a part of something. Like, it's something special here if people keep coming and highlighting the work that we're doing. I think we literally have a hub of activists and organizations, and we touch every level from, racial diversity, different abilities, different genders and sexuality, sexual orientations. and even looking at how we do care and how we care for each other and how we care for ourselves. How we feed the community. Like, we do a lot of things out of a small space just with a few of us. And so I feel like because we have each other and we have such a diverse and broad outlook and a diverse and broad community just within ourselves, that we are better prepared for whatever may come. Because we do have each other and each other's support.
So, I think my story is gonna sound a little weird, because for me it started before I met all of these people. It started in 2014 when I got accepted into a fellowship, the Appalachian Transition Fellowship, and I was leaving. My friends in Knoxville, they were preparing for me to be gone. I didn't know how long I was gonna be gone, or actually thinking I was gonna come back, move back in the area. But as I was leaving, they were throwing me a going away party. And a gentleman who was a friend of mine, he was an older white man, he stopped by the party. And I remember seeing him and him asking me where I was going, and him actually sitting down and saying, "Hey, what do you know about Juneteenth?" And like I said, it was 2014, and I was like, no. He was like, well, there are communities, black communities up there, and he was like, you've got to somehow get involved with those events, and you've got to make sure, like, you've got to do something. And I was like, this is nothing that I did. I can't take credit for any of it, but I'm just along for the ride and seeing. But so, I mean, I say my story sounds weird because everything, even to where I am now, is all divinely inspired. I've just been following my heart, listening to God, going where He told me to go. Through that fellowship, I met my wife. We got married, and I ended up living here. And Juneteenth just kind of happened, but the whole while it's been like something that I was sent off like on a mission. And then a couple of people who are ancestors now were always telling me I was gonna come to Appalachia. I was gonna come to this place. And they were always saying stuff to me like, "Hey, I got a plan for you." I know one woman, Carol Judy, she's passed away now, and another woman, Landria Williams, a great organizer from the Highlander Center and some other organizations. She always said, "Hey, I got a plan for you." And she talked about Appalshop, and she talked about all these things. And I don't know, I just followed kind of like what they said with a lot of hope. And I ended up here doing this work with these great people. So I'm still here. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I guess I can talk about what Juneteenth means to me. Start with that. It's like joy and perseverance. It's a reminder of like how far we've come, where we are, and standing in that strength, but also a reminder of how far there is to go in a good way, because especially with the Juneteenth celebration here in town, you can look around and see you're surrounded by all these people who will hold your hand and go with you along that journey for however long it takes. And I know it'll take the rest of my life. But at the same time, you know, as far as the future and like the continuation of the activism, there is like a lineage of activism throughout the region. There's obviously a lineage of Black activism throughout the Appalachian region. But just even here, like on the ground, there's a burping baby right here that gets to be surrounded by all of these wonderful community members and leaders. There's two little girls in the back room on their tablets, but they're still, I mean, when a kid's on their tablet, they're soaking in more than you think they are, right? So like, they also get to be just inundated with all of this wisdom and courage and strength. I think that is important, that we are raising little movement babies. When we think about like what's happening with the rollbacks of DEI right now, I mean, am I surprised? No, not at all. Surprise, surprise. Like, no. When the pendulum swings in one direction, it swings back just as hard. And I think in a country with a history like that of the United States, I mean, I saw the writing on the wall in 2016. Like, and people didn't want to listen for a while. I know a lot of folks are listening now. But at the end of the day, what gives me hope is that I get to spend time with people who have hope and dreams for a future in which, like, nobody has to feel the pangs of being marginalized or left out. Like, our liberation as Black folks, it's tied to the liberation of everyone and the liberation of everyone else. Their liberation is tied to ours. And so I just think that that is central to the conversation, and that is why celebrating Juneteenth is important, and celebrating in Big Stone Gap is really, really special.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. That, to me, is what Juneteenth is about. The fact of freedom. The fact that it has only been 160 years ago that there were still Black people that were slaves. And the fact that these kids can sit in the back and not have to worry about, for the most part, a bomb being thrown through the window of a church. The fact that I can go to work with my white and Black brothers and sisters and do a profession that back in the day Black folks couldn't do. The fact that now we are focusing more on Black history being American history, that just simply means we are Americans. We celebrate 4th of July, that's freedom. But for Black folks, Juneteenth is truly Freedom Day, and that's why until I die, I will always celebrate Juneteenth. And thanks to this group, I was able to be made aware of what Juneteenth was, because for the longest time, until we started this, I wasn't fully aware. I'll say I was aware, but I wasn't fully aware. And so I'm thankful for the committee. I'm thankful that we are doing this in Big Stone Gap. I'm thankful that the head of it is strong Black pillars of the community. And I'm super thankful for the ones who have went before us to make sure that we have all of our freedoms. And it is still sort of scary. You know, there's not been a Juneteenth event that I haven't had to worry about. Is there going to be someone to do something ignorant? Because that's the days that we live in. So, but I will say I will celebrate freely. I will celebrate loudly. I will celebrate because I have the daggone right to celebrate Juneteenth. And as far as the DEI stuff goes, I hate to say I could care less because it's not going to change exactly how I celebrate, but the fact that the government still thinks that they can have their hand in a situation as far as equality and the fact that people being included, it's a sad day. But I'm just going to be loud, proud, and thankful for this committee. I'm thankful to be on the committee. I hopped on as what potentially was going to be a food vendor with our barbecue business, Sugar Shack Barbecue. I always got to plug that. Yeah, Josh plugged that song earlier. Like, I'm going to plug Sugar Shack. Yeah. But I'm thankful to Appalshop because this can be documented now, and we can actually look back on it later on down the road, and the people who maybe be doing Juneteenth, it's not us, you know, we're dead and gone. They can say, this is who got the ball going, but now the ball's in our court and we can keep it going. And I'm just thankful to be a Big Stone Gap.
Can I add something before we close?
Yeah.
So it is January 2025. There have been a lot of executive orders that have come down the last little bit. I saw pretty recently that there have been directives that, as far as government offices go, you are not to celebrate, you know, any holidays that have, or months that have anything to do with anything other than, that have anything to do with the inclusion of historically marginalized groups. Juneteenth just became a federal holiday.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a federal holiday for much longer, but that did not stop people from celebrating before, and it's not going to stop people from celebrating now.
So how are Juneteenth and Independence Day similar? Both celebrate freedom, both honor courage and resilience, but their origins are worlds apart. July 4th represents ideals. Juneteenth represents the struggle to make those ideals real. Celebrating both helps us tell a whole American story. And that's what this moment was about doing. claiming space in a narrative that too often leaves Black voices out. In the Black tradition, faith isn't just belief, it's action. From the pulpit to the protest, faith leaders have always been a driving force in the fight for justice. That same spirit animated this Juneteenth gathering, a vision of freedom grounded in purpose and powered by hope. As fireworks light up the sky on the 4th of July and families come together on Juneteenth, let's remember, freedom didn't happen all at once. It happened in pieces, and it's still happening today. By celebrating both holidays, we don't divide our history, we complete it. We affirm that faith and freedom are not in conflict. They are companions on the long road towards justice. This has been Juneteenth in the Mountains, on intersections of faith and freedom. Last year marked the 4th annual Juneteenth celebration in Big Stone Gap, and it was the biggest one yet, a celebration rooted in history, lifted by faith, and brought to life through music, movement, and powerful community voices. And in the next segment, we're bringing you right into the heart of that celebration. You'll hear from two of my co-workers at Appalshop, Tommy Anderson and Leo Shannon, as they interview performers and participants who made this year's event unforgettable. And before we get into that, I have to give a very special shout out to Jason Young, my wife's younger brother, who really stepped up and took the reins as stage manager. Jason, we see you and we appreciate you. First up, Tommy Anderson speaks with the dynamic drum and dance troupe Drums Up, Guns Down, who drove from Knoxville, Tennessee to be a part of the celebration. Under the leadership of Obayana Ajanako, their ensemble brought the spirit of West African rhythm and movement to the mountains, connecting the roots of our past with the joy of the present.
Peace. So we can spread that vibration through this community. So we're here to share our art form and our craft with you guys. We drove here from Knoxville, Tennessee, and just to come down here to share what we do. That's why we're here.
And how many you got in the group total?
Today we got about, what? We got about 15, 16. They count. About 15, 16.
About 15,
yeah. The whole group we got about 30.
Sorry, it's the wind on this microphone.
It's all look. They count as a person too. So like 1, 2.
All right, so I'll just.
So this is 1 and this is 2.
No.
It
I
is
thought you talking about
7.
your band.
How long you been doing this?
We started Drums Up, Guns Down about 3 years ago, but I've been doing teaching West African drum and dance and offering it to the community for the past 22 years.
Can you tell me about that? How you know?
I started drumming. I took my very first drum class at 6 years old, and I started playing on a regular basis around 12 or 13 years old. Because my mom was into the culture and she had a West African drum and dance group. And I was automatically in it. It was called Global Watoto Drum and Dance Ensemble. And we still carry that brand and we come together as a group. A lot of times we go out just drumming, we just rock with the brand, Drums Up, Guns Down. It's just drummers. So when we add our dance component, we just combine it. Go back to the original brand, Global Watoto Drum and Dance Ensemble, which was started in 1989. And my mom started, she passed away in 2017. For me, is to keep the work, keep the mission going. Her goal and vision was to have something for African American kids to identify themselves with and use the arts to do that, and also share African culture in a positive light. So that's kind of how it originally started in Knoxville. And now they kind of transitioned into us using this art form to combat against gun violence.
That's a lot of. I feel like a lot of weight on a person's shoulders. That's a lot of duty, responsibility.
Yeah, it is, but you know it's worth it though.
Can you tell me just a little bit about this? What happened? What started 3 years ago?
Also, 3 years ago, we had a string of gun violence that happened at the school that I teach at. I teach at Appalachia High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. We had a string of gun violence that happened back to back to back. And I decided to use what I know best, which is drumming and working with youth, to do my part, not just sit on the sideline. And so we started this group, and now not only do we have a regular group of kids we work with, we also do community engagement throughout the community. And teach me myself, I go to different places, teach drum classes, talk about making good choices, making better decisions, and not moving on, not acting out there.
Yeah, just like you start developing an identity, it's very important. Josh had some questions here. Thank you for sharing about the group, how it started and stuff. So, what does Juneteenth mean to you personally, and how has your understanding of Juneteenth evolved throughout the year?
Well, personally, Juneteenth means emancipation, empowerment, and freedom for me. Personally, emancipation, empowerment, freedom, liberation. You know, free your mind. And everything else gonna follow. And the people gonna follow. You know? So that's what Juneteenth means to me. Year round, we live it. We live liberation. We live freedom. You know? For me, and I'm sure it's the same for some of these guys, when I'm drumming, it's one of my freest moments. Like, I'm in the zone, you know, free. Can't nobody really tap into the freedom that I feel when I'm drumming. I don't feel constrained. I feel empowered. And some of the things play how I feel at any given moment. So that's how I use the example of Juneteenth throughout the year. By staying liberated within my mind and sharing that unity to the community and my guys. Because drumming to me, I think I speak for everybody. Drumming to me is freedom. You know, it's the freedom of expression. How y'all, what y'all think?
Yep. Does it mean anything personally to you all?
Yes.
Or how, I mean, something that you feel want to speak on?
And this got me through a lot of, tough times, like, as far as being in school. The certain name that, our school encounters, the reputation, they try to give us, stuff like that. Things around the house. It's a stress relieving tool. It's like a huge energy of just freedom all around whenever I play the drum. It's like a relaxer for me. Some people take NyQuil to go to sleep. I listen to West African music to go to sleep. It's a vibe for me. It's everything that I need in one instrument. And it's helped me through a lot. I just use it all the time, every time I can. Just get me through thick and thin.
Yeah, I want to add on what he said.
Following that, we'll hear a performance and interview with the Greater Mount Sinai Spirituals Male Choir, all the way from Greater Mount Sinai Baptist Church in Lynch, Kentucky. Their harmonies are deep, soulful, and rich with history.
But I couldn't keep it to myself. But I couldn't keep it to myself. But I couldn't keep it to myself. I said I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. What the Lord has done for me, has done for me. Oh, you ought to been there. You ought to been there. Save my soul. Save my soul. You ought to been there. You ought to been there. Good mind. Him on the road. I started walking. I started talking. I started singing. I started shouting. Oh, what the Lord has done for me, has done for me. I said I wasn't gonna jump and shout, but I couldn't keep it to myself. But I couldn't keep it to myself. But I couldn't keep it to myself. I said I wasn't gonna jump and shout, but I couldn't keep it to myself. What the Lord has done for me, has done for me. Oh, you ought to been there. You ought to been there. Save my soul. Save it's a celebration, just like Joshua said. Back in the day, we used to celebrate the 8th of August. You know, a lot of the families would come in from out of town. You know, we would have the number 3 tubs.
Yeah.
With watermelons in them and
Barbecue.
and anywhere you went on that street, people would barbecue. You could walk and get a rib sandwich or whatever, you know. But that's, I'm glad that they finally bringing part of it back, because it's long time coming. I'll put it that way, a long time coming, and a lot now. A lot more, the young people are learning the history more. You know, I think what was it, last year before last, they was talking about not having singing in the churches or something like that. Like they wanted to, they didn't want the young people to know their history. That was in Florida, wasn't it? Yeah. Didn't want the young people to know the history. See, but the thing about when we went to school, hey, the older people, they taught us the history, you know, because they lived it. My granny, she was 107-year-old when she died, and she used to sit and talk about picking cotton down south and all that, you know. And another thing we found out, I know when I went down to Alabama, down south, my uncle told me, Uncle Benny said, you be careful who you talking to. It might be your cousin. Hey.
Okay, so this is, going with that, how do you think we move forward in a way to ensure that the traditions, the history are carried on into the next generation and the next and the next, with that weight and that importance and the detail and the tradition that
through the young, through our children, you know, through the young ones that we all can tell, you know, and let them know what our traditions is, and teaching them to carry this on. That's my opinion.
Truth is in the pudding. That's what the truth is. You got to bring the truth out now. People are trying to hold back those that don't. And some people want to hear, but some people don't want to hear. That's why they're trying to hold a lot of people back. Taking books, take the black books out of libraries, take all this out of there, keep them. You got to teach I don't care white, black, whoever. You got to teach what happened back then. This is time right now. And people are afraid. What are they afraid of? What are they afraid of?
They take the history book and put it afraid of the way they want it.
Yeah, they're afraid of losing power, I believe.
That's it.
That's because they're trying to hold you back.
Exactly.
And one of the things that the national holiday has done, it has brought this thing to the forefront that was previously depressed. It was something that was done in Texas, in Oklahoma, Arkansas. It was creeping this way, but it took a national law being passed to establish Juneteenth as a national holiday, like July the 4th, like President's Day. And as others have said, Reverend Washington has said, it's a part of the story that some people don't want to hear because they know it's true. And I want to let you know something. I don't hold what happened in the past against anybody that's living in the present. But the thing is, if you uplift it, if you embrace it, if you participate in it, now it's not just me and you that's got a problem. I see you having a problem with God because he's going to be the ultimate judge.
Yeah.
Don't you know I came to him? God said, as I was, I was weary, wound, and sad. Don't you know I found in
the sound that save a wretch, save a wretch like me, save a wretch like me. Don't you know I once was lost, once was lost, but now I'm found, now I'm found. I was blind, but now, blind, but now, Lord, I see, Lord, now I see. I'm talking about amazing grace, amazing grace, how sweet the sound, the song, the sound that saved a wretch, saved a wretch like me, saved a wretch like me. Don't you know I once was lost, once was lost.
After the choir, we'll be joined by none other than Kelly Jolly, the Tennessee ukulele lady, whose voice carries warmth and wisdom. Her music blends joy with storytelling, and her presence brought a beautiful calm to the day's festivities.
We'll see if that works. It's either the batteries or the cable. So I play traditional African American music, spirituals, jazz, folk music. And if you hear something that you know, then you can clap. And if you're feeling like you want to do more than clap, then you can stomp. And if you feel like you need to do more than that, then you can sing along. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. On that mountain, my Lord spoke. Out of his mouth came fire and smoke. Jordan River, chill and cold, chill the body, but not the soul. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. All around me looks so shy, as my Lord is all is mine. Ain't but one train run this track. It runs to heaven and it runs right back. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. All around me looks so shy, as my Lord is all is mine. Ain't but one train run this track. It runs to heaven, oh, it runs right back. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Well, now I got shoes, you got shoes. All the God's children got a shoes. When we get to heaven, gonna put on our shoes. I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Heaven, heaven. Well, now everybody talking about heaven ain't going there. Heaven. Well, I got a robe, you got a robe. All the God's children got a robe. When we get to heaven, gonna put on our robe. I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Heaven, heaven. Well, now everybody talking about heaven ain't going there. Heaven. Well, I got a crown, you got a crown. All of God's children got a crown. When we get to heaven, gonna put on our crown. I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Heaven, heaven. Oh, everybody talk about heaven ain't going there. Heaven. Well, I got a shoes, you got a shoes. I got a robe, you got a robe. I got a crown, you got a crown. Heaven. I said, I got a shoes, you got a shoes. I got a robe, you got a robe. I got a crown, you got a crown. Heaven. Can y'all sing that? I got a shoes, you got a shoes. I got a robe, you got a robe. I got a crown, you got a crown. Heaven, that's right. I said, I got a shoes, you got a shoes. I got a robe, you got a robe. I got a crown, you got a crown. Heaven. I said, I got a shoes, you got a shoes. I got a robe, you got a robe. I got a crown, you got a crown. Heaven. Talk about heaven.
And to close out the artist lineup, Big Stone Gap's own hip-hop artist and performer, Genova, took the stage with truth, rhythm, and fire. His music speaks to the modern struggle and celebrates Black identity in Appalachia.
Trying to make a good impression, big repression, my depression, my confession, be a lesson to the masses of the classes, tackling us with passion. I'm sorry for the hassle, baby, I just had to say you got me over the phone. Know this feeling unusual, I just do not know how to act. Wanna get it back, if I don't do it soon, I know it's gonna consume me, so I gotta be on the attack. Over the matter of fact, you got me over the moon. Know this feeling unusual, I just do not know how to act. Wanna get it back, if I don't do it soon, I know it's gonna consume me, so I gotta be on the attack.
Just act like I'm not even here. Yeah.
You got me. You got me. In love, you got me. You got me. You got me. In love, you got me.
It's literally like right behind the street. Can you imagine? Can you think about how long
song is? Hold on. Sorry, that's a continuation of the song that I do. Thank you so much for listening. That's it for me. Like I said, my name is Genova. I'll spell it again. Just so you all lowercase, GEONOVAH. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all got it. You do that later too. I want to hear that if y'all there. Y'all got it. That's what I'm talking about. But everybody else that I might not see again, thank you again for coming. Stick around. We got 2 more performances at 3 and 4, I think. So yeah, thank you.
So what happens when faith meets freedom? When history meets action? When tradition meets a new generation of leaders, artists, and organizers? You get a celebration just like this one. One that tells the full story. One that reclaims space. one that moves not just your feet, but your spirit. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is not a one-day event, it's a journey. And this celebration in Big Stone Gap is a part of that journey, carried forward by a community rooted in love, truth, and faith. As we wrap up the final episode of the season, I want to thank you, our listeners. I'm very glad you decided to tune in to this season. Your support matters, and we hope you'll walk with us again in the next season as we continue to lift up the voices of those shaping Appalachia's future. Big thanks to my co-workers, Tommy Anderson and Leo Shannon. Of course, to my little bro, Jason Young. You made this celebration happen in every way. Until next time, I'm Joshua Outsey, and this has been Juneteenth in the Mountains, on intersections of faith and freedom. Keep celebrating, keep questioning, and keep building the world you want to live in.
Okay, how y'all doing today? Y'all good? Y'all good? We are Drums Up, Guns Down. It's the name of our organization. We're created to use drums as a tool to combat gun violence in our communities and spread the message throughout the surrounding counties. And this year, Juneteenth is we out here sharing the vibration of freedom and unity and peace today. So when you hear the drums, kind of think in that mindset of freedom, unity, and peace. And we're going to continue to share with you guys. I just want to make sure you guys knew who we were. We are Drums Up, Guns Down. We drove all the way down from Knoxville, Tennessee to be with you guys today. I don't want to do a whole lot of talking. I want to do more performing and sharing our energy with you guys more. So one thing I want to tell you guys as an audience, feel free to clap. If you want to get up and dance a little bit, do so. Whatever you feel. I don't want you to feel like you just got to sit there. You know, you can feel like clapping, you feel like stomping your feet, do your thing. It's all good.
We give honor to our ancestors who paved the way before us, that we may learn and pass on our knowledge to the new generation.
We mining for diamonds, we digging for gold. We fracking for gas, blasting and extracting the coal. How much is it worth, whether it's bought or it's sold? The weight that it holds, does that equate to your soul? How much are you worth and have you ever been told? Who owns all the oil and truly who's in control? Who gave us permission to sell it all by the load? The powers that be have been around like an old boulder. We asking for answers that all we get is the cold shoulder. The lord of the land, when it has become his property. He'll take my last dime just to keep me in poverty. Cap a nickel and brass, iron ore's getting cash just to add to the stash, just like we playing Monopoly.
There's so many problems in our neighborhood. I wish we could do what we should to make it better. We come together, lending hands, making plans. Help the youth understand we all we got, it's all we need, and we can grow. Plant that seed, just believe it and receive it.
It's funny how a little bit of action could bring forth change. Setting goals to gain control ain't that far out of range. If we all speak out, they will hear our voices. Everybody needs to vote, cause there's too many choices. We need safety in our homes, education in school. Demand justice when the ones in charge are breaking the rules. We need better health care to heal the sick. Rehab the drug addicts so that they can quit. We need food, shelter, water, and clothes. Mutual aid programs cover all of those. With capacity builders, we can make things change. Setting goals to gain control ain't that far out of range.
There's so many problems in our neighborhood. I wish we could do what we should to make it better. We come together, lending hands, making plans, help the youth understand we all we got, it's all we need, and we can grow. Plant that seed, just believe it and receive it. Capacity builders, capacity builders, capacity builders, capacity builders.
I thought we needed so many other people to change our lives, but I learned that our biggest supporter is the community. It's the community that brings us up. I talked to a sister one day, she told me all we needed was love. Well, I'm showing up for a fill-up, and then we're gonna distribute this love and resources to the community so we can capacity build up. If you need helping hand, you need a listening ear, even if you need a few dollars, I got your back. And I'ma leave you with these words of love. If nobody told you this week, this month, or this year, we love you, we believe in you, and we out. And we out, and we out, and we out, and we out.
Love is the more, yes, love is the more. excellent way. The more excellent way. Excellent way. Love is the more excellent way. Love is the more excellent way. Yes, it is.